All right, how's it going, everybody? This is Corey Lee, and we're back with episode 31 of the podcast. And this is called Into the Last Days. So, my last video was called the same thing, Into the Last Days, but it's just a slightly different subject here. And there's a book that I read or I don't read it as far as on my channel, but I do read it quite often. And I always mention this book. It's called the Book of Second Esdras, or is also known as Second Ezra, right? I need a little bit more volume here because I can barely hear myself. All right. So Second Esdras is a book that kind of talk about the last days, and more so around chapter 13, because that's where I'm going to start, is around chapter 13. And what I was saying in my last video is that if you don't know stuff like this, you can be missing exactly 50% of what you could know about the last days, end time prophecy, and stuff like that. So the first thing I want to talk about is that this used to be in the Bible. A lot of people say, no, you just need to stick with the 66 books in the Bible. But this used to be in there. The Bible used to have more than 66 books until the Roman Catholic Church got to it and said, yeah, I think I would like these took away. So a lot of King James only people and a lot of 66 books only people, they always say things like, well, I stick with the 66 books of the King James only. And I oftentimes wonder why. I'm like, but why? Well, because I can't trust anything else. Okay. So you got a good point. You can trust the 66 books that's in there. But that does not mean that everything outside of that is untrustworthy, because the very first King James Bible, the King James 1611 Bible, actually did have these other books in there until the Roman Catholic Church and some other group, I believe the Council of Nicaea. I think the Council of Nicaea was before that. But somebody somewhere got together and said, I think I want to take that out. I think for some reason, I don't want people to know that. So one of the things you need to know is this, right? 1619 is when our people were first slaves here in America. This was just 400 years ago, right? So I want everybody to know that when God was telling Abraham, know of a surety your people will be slaves in a land they don't know for 400 years. That wasn't the first Egypt, because Paul say this, that it was 430 years between Abraham receiving the promise and the Torah. So between Abraham and the Israelites receiving the Torah, that was 430 years. At most, they were slaves in Egypt 215 years at most. Because how is it that the descendants of Abraham was in bondage 400 years, but between Abraham receiving the promise, or at least having the promise revealed to him, or at least between the covenant that God made with Abraham and them receiving the law, was 400 years. So that means that whole Abraham and Isaac time period was only 30 years long. It don't really make sense. Mathematically, that's not correct. Somewhere down the line, everybody got this wrong. And the proof of it is right there in the Bible. Okay? I'm not telling you my opinion, is right there in the 66 books. But that's not why I bring that up. The reason I bring that up is because they wanted to hide something from the people who they knew were the Israelites. 1611 is in the Bible, right? The books of the Apocrypha in the Bible. Very shortly after, we slaves here in in America and everywhere else in the world too, because almost every nation took part in that. And then they revised the Christian King James Bible and took it out. Makes sense. Because if you really actually take the time to think about what second Esdras talk about, and I'm gonna talk about that another time. A lot of people say the Bible don't prophesy about America. Well, it did until they took the Apocrypha out. It's right there in second Esdras. Second Esdras got a whole lot to say about the last days, and it actually do talk about a nation that was in the likeness of a two-headed eagle. No. It was a three-headed eagle with two large wings, and I believe it was like 8 small wings or 13, something like that. I'm gonna have to go over that part again. But that was the last reigning kingdom before the lion came and took the kingdom from the eagle, because the two heads kept trying to go back and forth to rule, and then the middle head woke up, right? And I believe that middle head is the deep state. Like in between Democrat and Republican, you got the deep state that rule both of them. So it don't matter who you pick to be in office, you still got the deep state that's over both of them. If you ain't getting rid of the deep state, then Democrat and Republican don't matter. It's all the same. It's all the same bird, right? So all of this stuff matter. Why they took it out? Because it's stuff they didn't want people to know. And then you got to ask yourself, why don't they want people to know? Every time something get hidden, I just be like, why are they hiding it? Now, if God was to be hiding it for some odd reason, okay, fine, I get that, right? That could be his protection. But the Roman Catholic Church don't serve God. Now, a lot of people in the organization, like a lot of members and stuff like that, they could be very sincere and they could really like assume that they're doing the right thing by being a Catholic, and they just really don't know what we know about it. And a lot of times they don't really think about it either. Like one of the things they don't really consider is how they call Mary the Queen of Heaven. But right there in the Bible, the Israelites were judged for worshiping somebody called Queen of Heaven. Like that should make sense to people, but I just don't think they got there yet. Okay, because it's a lot of stuff people say it should have made sense to me. I just ain't get there yet, right? So I don't want to judge nobody for where they are not yet. But what people choose to reject, even after being told the truth, is on them. All right. And even though you can be told the truth, it don't mean you received it. All right. So let's go and let's read second Esdras. So the last video I talked about how the people who were taken and left behind, like I talked about that. According to the gospel, it is a bad thing to be taken and a good thing to be left behind, right? So this actually go along with being said in scripture. So let me go there first, just in case you see this video first and didn't see the last one. You need to know this first, right? A lot of people think that it's a good thing to be taken and a bad thing to be left behind. And I'm like, how? Have you paid attention to the words the Bible is using? And that's because when you were told about the pre-tribulation rapture doctrine first and for so long, and you heard other people that you respect dearly preach the same thing, and because your love for those people that preach it, it cause you to let your guard down and you take their words as law, right? And you don't really think to go study the Bible for this yourself. And even when you do, you tend to read what you already believe it's saying into scripture, and you don't give yourself enough open mind to really slow down and consider exactly what it's talking about. All right. So let me go to this first. Um, let's see. All right. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven. This is Matthew 24, starting at 36. But my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. This is laying the ground, like this is the context right here for one being taken and one being left, just in case you don't get what I'm saying. So, as in the days of Noah will be the coming of the Son of Man. So, he telling you exactly like that was, is exactly like this is going to be. And I'm saying it like that for a reason, because people could, like, try and make it sound like he's saying the opposite of what I'm saying, and it's not. Exactly like the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until that Noah entered the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. Knew not until the flood came and took them all away. The flood took unbelievers away. But the flood didn't take Noah away. The ark did. Okay. And for all you know, the ark probably could have stayed in place. It could have swam somewhere else. Who knows? But the flood came and took some people all away. All right. Those who were, well, who did it take away? Those who were eating, drinking, marrying, and being given in marriage. People that wasn't considering the judgment of God. Okay. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So it's going to be exactly like this. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. Now, somebody could say, well, he not talking about them being took in judgment. He talking about them being took in a rapture. Well, that's the opposite of what he's saying. Anybody being took away in this context fell into judgment. All right. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken, the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched. So the ones he took away are those who ain't watching. All right. And would not have suffered his house to be broken up. All right. So now we understand. Even the Bible is giving you the same context clues on being took away at the coming of the Son of Man is not good, and being left behind at the coming of the Son of Man is, right? And then we got to think about it. If he going to come here and set up his millennial kingdom, that would mean what? Either those who lost their lives during the Great Tribulation are going to come back, and those left behind going with them. Right? So now let's go to the book that I really want to read, because I feel like this, right? I can talk about Second Esdras all day long, but that don't mean I'm telling you where to go about what it is I'm talking about. And then another thing too is that I think that people would be quicker to watch a video about it than to actually sit down and read it themselves. So I might actually have to read this for you in order for you to really do it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we can be like that. It's like, okay, you talking about this book, but you ain't read it yet. It's like, I told you where to go. You read it. But like, like I got to consider how even I can be sometime. So I'm starting at chapter 13, because chapter 13, I believe this is the beginning of this context right here. And I'm reading from the Yah Scriptures Android app, YAH Scriptures Android app. This is my favorite Bible app. And it came to be after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and see, a wind rose from the sea that stirred up all its waves. And I looked, and see, the wind formed the likeness of a man from the heart of the earth, and the man flew with the clouds of the heaven. And when he turned his face to look, all that was seen under him trembled. So we know this is the Son of Man right here. And whenever the voice went out of his mouth, all those who heard his voice burned, as the earth falls away when it feels the fire. And after this I looked, and see, a crowd of men without number was gathered together from the four winds of the heaven to overcome the man who came out of the sea. But I looked, and see, he had carved himself a great mountain and rose up on it. Y'all remember in the book of Daniel how it talked about a large rock came out of the cloud and crushed the statue. I believe it's giving you the same type of context regarding this. A large rock, a large mountain came. And we're going to talk about the book of Daniel too in this Into the Last Day series. I might do 5 videos about it, or I might do all videos from the episode 30 up to 39 about just the last days. Okay, even though I seem to only really talk about the last days anyway, but still, I need to go over everything I know regarding the last days to everybody else. So just that way you can kind of have something to add to your learning. All right. And I tried to see the region or place from which the mountain was carved, and I could not. But after this I looked, and see, all those who were gathered together to overcome him were very afraid, and yet were bold to fight. Don't that sound like the kingdoms these days? Just always wanting to fight, right? And it's a reason they gonna fight, because they know this is the judgment of God. They thought that in some way they had a fighting chance. And look, as he saw the violence of the crowd that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held a sword, nor any weapon of battle. But I only saw that he sent what looked like a blast of fire out of his mouth and a flaming breath out of his lips. And he threw out a storm of sparks out of his tongue. And they were all mingled together. So the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great storm, which fell with violence on the crowd that was prepared to fight, and burned up every one of them, so that suddenly none was seen of the innumerable crowd, but only dust and a smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Afterward, I saw the same man come down from the mountain, and called to himself another peaceable crowd. And many people came to him, of whom some were glad, some were sorrowful, and some of them were bound, and some brought others with offerings. Then I was sick through great fear, and I woke and said, You have shown your servant these wonders from the beginning, and have counted me worthy that you should receive my prayer. Now show me the interpretation of this dream also. For as I considered in my understanding, woe to those who are left in those days, right? Woe to those who are left in those days. Okay, so we got that. And much more woe to those who are not left behind. Ooh. For those who are not left behind shall be grieved. Now I understand that which is laid up in the latter days, which shall come upon them, and to those who are left behind. Therefore they have come into great danger and much distress, as these dreams declare. Yet it is better for he who is in danger to come to these than to pass out of the world as a cloud, and not see that which shall come to be in the last days. And he answered me and said, wait, let's read that again. Yet it is better for he who is in danger to come to these than to pass out of the world as a cloud, and not see that which shall come to be in the last days. Ever since I read this, my prayer has been, please let me be here to see your return. Please let me survive the great tribulation. I don't want to leave before all this take place. I want to see this. I really do. Even if I do have to face dangers, it is much more worth it to me to see the coming of the Son of Man than to miss it all. Even though either way, I know that my salvation is secure. But at the same time, I want to see him fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to see what this look like. I want to be there. I just don't want to be on the wrong side. So with that being said, let's continue. I show you the interpretation of the vision, and I show open to you that which you have asked. When you spoke of those who are left behind, this is the interpretation. He who shall endure the danger in that time guards himself. Those who have fallen into danger are those who have works and belief toward the Almighty. So don't this sound completely opposite of everything they told us about the last days? Everybody said if you left behind, that's because you wouldn't serve in God. And if you get took, that's because you was. Well, it's telling me here that those who are left behind are clearly servants of God. Oh, and guess where that pre-tribulation rapture doctrine started from? A Roman Catholic monk was with a witch, right? And this witch, she had a vision and said that I know what the second coming of Christ is going to be like. It's going to be in two parts. The second coming of Christ is not happening twice. This all started with a Roman Catholic monk and a witch. At some point during this series, I am going to talk about where this pre-tribulation rapture stuff started from. Just right now, we can't go over that yet because that's too long. Because then I got to talk about Darby and Schofield, who were also false brothers, right? Who were the ones who pushed this rapture stuff so hard that made us believe that this is the way it is. All right. And don't get your theology from Hollywood movies, please. Like you see Nicolas Cage and somebody in the movie. Oh yeah, you know this got to be from Hollywood, and you know it's got to be of the devil. Right now, I'm not saying it can't be some true stuff in there. I'm not saying it can't be some helpful and profitable things in there that inspire you to really want to serve God. But the overall doctrine of it itself is backwards. All right. So verse 24. Know this, therefore, that those who are left behind are more blessed than those who are dead. This is the meaning of the vision. When you saw a man coming up from the midst of the sea, he is the one whom Elohim the Most High has kept for a long time, whom by himself shall deliver his creation, and he shall lead those who are left behind. And when you saw that a blast of wind and fire and storm came out of his mouth, and that he held neither sword nor any weapon of battle, but that his rushing in destroyed the whole crowd that came to overcome him, this is the interpretation. See, the days are coming when the Most High shall begin to deliver those who are on the earth, and those who dwell on the earth shall be astonished at his coming, and one shall begin to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one reign against another. That's kingdom. So I want to stop there. I got something slightly irrelevant to what I just read to add in. Remember when I talked about how the Roman Catholic Church took the Apocrypha books out of the Christian Bible? And I also told you that the pre-tribulation rapture doctrine started with the Roman Catholic Church. Now you see why they took it out. And to be honest with you, these books were not called Apocrypha at first. They were just called that in the first King James Bible. Now, if the very first King James Bible saw fit to at least put them in there, it's got to be some truth to it. And a lot of people say that this is biblical history, is not scripture. Well, look, I need you to pay attention to the words you use. You just called it biblical and history. It can't be biblical or history if it's not true. All right? All right, so let's read. And the time shall be when these things come to pass, and the signs that take place which I show you before, and then my son shall be declared, whom you saw as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man in their own land shall leave the battle they have against one another. So before chapter 13, these people were all at war with each other. I just didn't read that part. I started right here because I want to stay on topic with the last video. But he shall stand on the top of on top of Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be shown to all men, being prepared and built, as you saw the mountain carved without hands. And he, my son, shall rebuke the wicked deeds of those nations who have fallen into the storm for their wicked life, and shall lay their evil thoughts before them, and the torture with which they shall begin to be tortured, which are like flames, and he shall destroy those without works by the law, which is comparable to me. And when you saw that he gathered another peaceable multitude to himself, those are the 10 tribes, which carried away captive out of their own land in the time of Hosea the sovereign, whom Shalmaneser the sovereign of Ashur, which is Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. And so they came to another land. It has been said that the Native Americans who were here before Christopher Columbus were actually Israelites. And also the people that came here over the waters again during the slave trade, which were also Israelites of the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. I just need to let y'all know, because it do say that those are the 10 tribes. All right. And this was before, like, second Esdras happened before Judah was sold into slavery. And so I believe his second Esdras happened afterwards. He probably would have said these are all the tribes. But heck, I mean, like, he don't really gotta lie or anything like that. I believe that Judah's return is going to happen differently than all the other 10 tribes, because the rest of the 10 tribes are also scattered around Africa and every other nation as well. They literally got scattered too. But I just thought I might add that in there, because this part about the 10 tribes who were carried over the waters, what waters, I really don't know. I'm still searching that out. So don't take what I'm saying as law pertaining that, because I don't fully understand that yet. You might know more than I do about that. So, but they took his counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the Gentiles and go out to a distant land where mankind had not dwelt, that there they might guard their laws, which they had not kept in their own land. And they entered into Parath by the narrow places of the river. For at that time the Most High showed signs for them, and held the flood till they had passed over. For there was a great way to go through that land of 1.5 years, and that region is called Haroseth. I believe that was America. Like, I believe the people who first came to America before Christopher Columbus were these people. I really do believe that. But I don't know. It could be talking about a whole nother place entirely. Then they dwelt there until the last days. Then they dwelt there until the last days. And when they began to come, the Most High shall hold the springs of the river again, that they may go through. Therefore you saw the multitude at peace. But those who are left behind of your people are those who are found within my borders. So let me be all the way clear. The Bible also say that the Gentiles will trample over Jerusalem until the age of the Gentiles be fulfilled. The people in the land right now couldn't possibly be of Israelite descent, specifically because of what the Bible say. And I don't believe God's a liar. They're not supposed to be there according to the knowledge of God. So that couldn't be them, because it's sitting here telling you this, that the 10 tribes were sent to another place and they will be there until the last days. All right. Now, how is it that all the Jews returned? Oh, in the Bible say, I know the blasphemy of those who say they're Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Right? Like you can tell that clearly by the 6-pointed star, which is a high level witchcraft symbol, and by their own actions. Right? But how is it that only the Jews return when the Jews are actually supposed to be the southern kingdom, which is Judah, Levi, and Benjamin? So where are the other tribes? Right? All right. So let me figure out where I was at. And they called upon river, but those who are left behind are those people who are found within my borders. I believe Judah's going to come first. I really do believe Judah is going to return first, according to other books of the Bible. And I'm going to go over them at another time. Now, when he destroys the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remain. And then he shall show them great wonders. Then I said, O Yahuwah, who remains, show me this. Why have I seen the man coming up from the midst of the sea? Can't y'all see that almost everything y'all know about almost everything that get taught to us about biblical prophecy in the last days is completely backwards, scattered around, and just untrue altogether? All the way from the Holy Land to the rapture to the coming of the Son of Man to all these other things. It's like the devil worked overtime to make sure our knowledge of what scripture actually do say ain't lining up. And I don't think people take time to really line up what they were taught and see why it don't really make sense. Like you can actually preach all of the stuff you were taught all in the same sermon, and you never really consider why it don't make sense, because in your mind it do until you really slow down and think about it. If you ever put a timeline in your head about all the stuff you were taught about the last days, you're going to realize something wrong with it. And I don't mean wrong as if it's missing something. I mean wrong as if even what it does include ain't even right. Right? And he said to me, as you could neither seek out nor know that which is in the depths of the sea, even so no man on earth shall see my son, for those who are with him, but in his time of day. This is the interpretation of the dream which you saw, and why you alone are enlightened. For you have forsaken your own way, and applied your diligence to my law, and sought it. You have ordered your life in wisdom, and have called understanding your mother, and therefore I have showed you the treasures of the Most High. After another 3 days I shall speak further to you, and declare to you mighty and wondrous matters. Then I went out into the field, giving great praise and thanks to the Most High because of his wonders, which he does in due time, and because he governs the times, and these fell in their season, and I sat there 3 days. I want to know what this saying. Even though I read it already, I still want to know, because he's like, he's talking about greater things this time. All right. Yeah, I forgot. I'm not using FL Studio to record no more. And I got to remember, this ain't FL Studio. You can trust that it's going to keep recording and not run into some issue. And it came to be on the third day, I sat under the terebinth, and see, a voice came out of a bush opposite me, and I said, and said, Ezra, Ezra. And I said, Here I am, Adonai, and I stood up on my feet. Then he said to me, I clearly revealed myself to Moses in the bush, and talked with him when my people were slaves in Mitzrayim. And I sent him and led my people out of Mitzrayim, and brought him up to the mountain of where I held him with many days, and told him great wonders, and showed him the secrets of the times and the end, and commanded him, saying, These words you shall declare, and these you shall hide. And now I say to you, lay up in your heart the signs that I have shown, and the dreams that you have seen, and the interpretation which you have heard. For you shall be taken away from all, and from now on you shall remain with my son, and with those who are like you, until the times are ended. For the world has lost its youth, and the times begin to grow old, for the world is divided into 12 parts. I believe them 12 parts are like 500 years apiece. I do believe that. And the 10 parts of it have gone already, and half of the 10 parts. And so this is way back, like almost 400 years before the return of Christ. And so, like, y'all know that, like, the world is really, really getting ready to end. I don't know how many years before the return of Christ. It could have been 10 years. I mean, not the return, but the coming, like the first coming. I don't know. All this 10 parts and 12 parts and stuff like that, I haven't really laid down the timeline yet for that. So don't take that as law either. Now, therefore, put your house in order and reprove your people. Comfort those who are in distress, and now renounce that which is corrupt. Let go of your mortal thoughts. Throw away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature, and lay aside the thoughts that are most grievous to you, and hasten to flee from these times. For even greater evil than those which you have seen shall come to be after this. So, like, let me tell y'all something, right? And I was just telling somebody this not too long ago. We don't have time to be in grief, bitterness, bickering back and forth with each other, arguing over who said what, and you felt like this and I felt like that because you felt like this and that and this and that. All of that stuff like that, we don't got time for that. If you can make peace, do it. And if somebody is making peace with you, take it. We don't got time to be nitpicking at one another over how I feel and how you might feel and how you looked at me and what you said to me and this and that. We are in the last days. Lay aside mortal thoughts. You don't got time to be stuck, stalled, and decaying away on the inside because of stuff you can't change, stuff you couldn't change, or just stuff like that. We don't got enough time for all that stuff. And when the return of Christ get here, you gonna wish you didn't spend multiple days in a row on stuff that did not amount to you actually being a part of his return. And even if you do, you gonna wish you had spent your time on stuff that amounted to you having more rewards in the kingdom, having greater works toward the Most High. You don't got time to be worried about every little jot and tittle of stuff that don't matter on the day of judgment. Like, you don't got time for all that. In fact, a lot of that can matter on the day of judgment because it might end up judging you. Honestly, the only thing worth your time is works toward the Most High. And works toward the Most High can look like a whole lot of things. That can look like just taking one of your kids out to eat and just talking to them. That can look like doing a really good job at the job you work as though you were working for the Most High. That can look like anything. Like even me making these videos, that's works toward the Most High. I need to do this. I have to. Like all of this stuff edify me too. Heck, like it just do. And there's a lot of stuff we entangle our time and days and stuff like that where it's like, man, you look around, you'd have had a whole 6 months go by, and what did you do with it? Oh, I just hung out. Bruh, we in the last days. Redeem the time because the days are evil. That's what the Bible say. Make the best use of your time that amount to works toward the Most High. We don't got the kind of time we think we got or want or prefer. Because if you believe that, there's stuff you don't know. And if you don't know, you just don't know. This is why I do this. So that way you can know and have your worldview sharpened so that you can operate the way you need to operate for what time period we live in. All right. Foresee how much the world weakens through age. Therefore, evil increases much more upon those who dwell in it. For truth has fled away. Don't you know that the further we get in time, the more deception is going to be out there? And sometimes we need to go back in time and figure it out. Okay, what did they know a couple thousand years ago? What did they know just 1,000 years ago? Like, just like how I said, the very first King James Bible had this book in it. Like, don't you think that over time they're going to start trying to hide stuff like this? Not actually do us more favors toward our knowledge of God? For truth has fled away and falsehood is close at hand. For the vision which you have seen now hastens to come. Then I answered and said, See, Adonai, I shall go as you have commanded me and reprove the people who are present. But those who are born after, who shall admonish them? Thus the world lays in darkness, and those who dwell in it are without light. For your law has been burned, therefore no one knows that which is done by you, or the work that shall begin. But if I have found favor before you, send the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, into me, and I shall write all that has been done in the world since the beginning, which was written in your law, that men may find your way, and that those who live in the latter days may live. And he answered me, saying, Go your way, gather the people together, and say to them, not to seek you for 40 days. But see, prepare for yourself many writing tablets, and take with you, I can't say their names, these 5 who are able to write swiftly, and come here, and I shall light a lamp of understanding in your heart, which shall not be put out, to that which you shall begin to write is complete. And when you are done, you shall publish some. You shall publish some. And I still wonder about this. And some you shall show secretly to the wise. Tomorrow at this hour you shall begin to write. Then I went out as he commanded, and gathered all the people, and said, Hear these words, O Israel. At the beginning our fathers were sojourners in Mitzrayim, or Egypt, from where they were delivered, and received the law of life, which they did not guard, which you have also transgressed after them. Then the land, even the land of Zion, was divided among you by lot. But your fathers and you have done unrighteousness, and have not guarded the ways which the Most High commanded you. And because he is a righteous judge, in due time he took from you that which he had given you. And now you are here, and your brothers are among you. Therefore, if you humble your own understanding and transform your hearts, you shall be kept alive, and after death you shall obtain kindness. For after death the judgment shall come, when we shall live again, and then the names of the righteous shall be revealed, and the works of the wicked shall be declared. Therefore let no man come to me now, nor seek me for 40 days. So I took the 5 men as he commanded me, and went to the field, and remained there. And the next day, see, a voice called to me, saying, Ezra, open your mouth and drink what I give you to drink. Then I opened my mouth, and see, he brought me a cup which was full of water, but the color of it was like fire. And I took it and drank, and when I had drunk from it, my heart spoke with understanding, and wisdom grew in my breast. For the remembrance in my spirit was strengthened, and my mouth was open and no longer closed. And the Most High gave understanding to the 5 men, and they wrote the extraordinary night visions that were related, which they did not know. And they sat 40 days and wrote in the day, and ate their bread at night. As for me, I spoke during the day, and did not keep silent by night. In 40 days they wrote 204 books. I wonder where all the rest of those books went. Now, if it's just 66 books, then a huge number of stuff is missing. And it came to be, when the 40 days were complete, that the Most High spoke, saying, the first that you have written, publish openly, that the worthy and unworthy may read it. But guard the 70 last, that you may deliver them only to those who are wise among the people. For in them is the spring of understanding, the fountain of wisdom, and the river of knowledge. And I did so. I'm going to stop there at 14. It almost makes sense why they take books like this out of the Bible, because books like this is loaded with knowledge, loaded with resources, and loaded with understanding. And if you was to read this and be like, wait, it's 200 and some books, how come we only got 66? You're going to start questioning and searching. And you wonder why they take stuff out, because then that's going to lead you to greater understanding. And then that's going to lead you to wanting to understand what ain't there in front of us. Or should I read 15? Like, maybe we do got time to read 15. Yeah, let's just finish the book. All right. So I want y'all to take some time. Read 2nd Esdras. Oh, and read the book of Baruch too. And Tobit is a nice book as well. I read the book of Tobit, like, man, I can't remember how long ago that was. But yeah, I would like to read that book again. It talked about this demon named Asmodeus. Okay. See, speak in the ears of my people the words of, I believe that word is prophecy, which I shall put in your mouth, says Yahuwah, and cause them to be written on paper, for they are trustworthy and true. Do not fear the schemes against you. Do not let the unbelief of those who speak against you trouble you. Don't let people stir you up. The government can threaten to shut down your channel for telling the truth all they want to. They ain't shutting your mouth. All right. Don't let the people who are against you, and the people that say you shouldn't be reading that, you shouldn't be reading that, that's not in the Bible, but it was, and I know it. You don't. So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. All right. Hopefully one day you do come to understand these things too, because I do want people to sharpen their understanding for the last days. We don't have time to be missing details, and then the details we do have is all told to us in backwards order. All right. For all the unbelieving shall die in their unbelief. Look, says Yahuwah, I shall bring plagues upon the world, the sword, scarcity of food, death, and destruction. For wickedness has polluted the whole earth exceedingly, and their evil works are complete. Therefore, says Yahuwah, I shall hold my tongue no more in regard to their wickedness which they do evilly, neither shall I tolerate them in that which they wickedly engage themselves. See, the blood of the innocent and righteous cries out to me, and the beings of the righteous protest continually. And therefore, says Yahuwah, I shall surely avenge them, and receive all the innocent blood from among them to me. See, my people are led as a flock to the slaughter. I shall not allow them to now dwell in the land of Mitzrayim. I shall not allow them to now dwell in the land of Mitzrayim. So this is way, well after Egypt, the first Egypt. They got sent back to slavery in the second Egypt for 400 years. And he's saying this time coming to an end. All right. And I will send you back to Egypt in ships, back to the house of bondage. And no man shall redeem you, except what? The kinsman. Only Christ is going to save his people from bondage. Only Christ is going to bring his people back out of the lands of captivity where they were scattered. Only he going to do that. We can't devise no schemes to go back to Africa. We cannot do it. It's not going to work. All right? But I shall bring them with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, and smite Mitzrayim with plagues as before, and shall destroy all its land. Mitzrayim shall mourn, and its foundation shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Elohim brings upon it. Those who till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blight and hail, and from frightening storm. Woe to the world and those who dwell in it, for the sword and their destruction draws near. And one people shall stand up and fight against another with sword in their hand. For there shall be uproar among men, and they shall invade one another with no regard for their sovereigns nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their strength. A man shall desire to go into the city and not be able. Ain't they doing stuff like that now with these 5-minute cities and 15-minute cities and all that other kind of stuff? And you can't travel unless you got this and that and this and that. They getting all that stuff in order right now. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Man shall have no compassion for his neighbor, but shall destroy their house with the sword and plunder their goods because of the lack of bread and of great distress. Yeah, this all going to happen when the dollar collapses. And the dollar collapsing is a sign of God destroying Egypt. Just look on the back of your dollar bill. Tell me this ain't the last days Egypt. Just tell me it ain't. Right? I mean, like, go look at all them structures in Washington, D.C. and obelisks and pyramids everywhere. Tell me this ain't last days Egypt, and this is who he talking about right now. As they still do today to my chosen, as they still do today, so I shall also do, and repay into their bosom. Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over those who shed innocent blood on the earth. The fire of his wrath has gone forth and consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners like straw that is kindled. Woe to those who sin and do not guard my commandments, says Yahuwah. I shall not spare them. Go your way, you unbelieving children. Do not defile my temple. For Yahuwah knows all those who sin against him. Therefore he gives them over to death and destruction. For now the plagues have come upon the whole earth, and you shall remain in them. for Elohim shall not deliver you, because you have sinned against him. Look, a horrible vision, and its appearance from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. Bruh, this is talking about America being judged. If we on the west, they definitely coming from the east. And we picking fights with Iran and everybody right now. Like, come on, man. Come on. Stuff like this makes sense. If only you read before I started reading and he was talking about the eagle. They got 3 heads and 2 large wings and like a lot of different smaller ones. It'll start really adding up to you. All right. Also, the Parasians, which I believe the Persians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the forest, and they shall come in great strength and engage in battle with them, and shall destroy a portion of the land of Assyria. And then the dragons, remembering their nature, shall have the upper hand, and if they ally together, turning themselves in great strength to pursue them, then these shall be troubled, and silenced by their strength, and shall flee. And the enemy shall besiege them from the land of Assyria, and consume some of them. And within their army shall be fear and dread and strife among the sovereigns. Look, clouds from the east and from the north to the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. Then, they shall clash against one another, and they shall bring down a great number of storms on the earth, even their own storm, and from the sword there shall be blood to the waist, and dung of man to the camel's hock. And there shall be great fear and trembling on the earth, and those who see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. And then great storms shall come forth from the south and from the north and another part of the west, and strong wind shall rise from the east and shall prevail, and the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the storm stirred up, causing fear toward the east and west wind, shall be destroyed. The great and mighty cloud shall billow full of wrath, and the storm, with which they make all the earth afraid, and those who dwell in it, and they shall pour out a horrible storm over every high and lofty place, fire and hail and flying swords, and many waters, so that all fields and all rivers shall overflow with exceeding great amount of water. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees and forests, grass of the field and its grain. And they shall move steadily on to Babel, and cause her fear. This is also Mystery Babylon. Also, like America is like Mystery Babylon is actually scattered all over the world. Like honestly, like the whole last days kingdom is Mystery Babylon the Great in some way. They shall come to her and besiege her, pouring out the storm. Wait a minute, is that where I'm at? And all wrath upon her. Then the dust and smoke shall go up to the heaven, and all those who are around her shall bewail. And those who remain under her shall do service to those who have put her in fear. And you, Asia, who shares in the expectancy of Babel, and are the esteem of her person, woe to you, you wretch, because you have made yourself like her, and have adorned your daughters with whoring, that they might please and boast in your lovers, who have always desired to commit whoring with you. Man. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do, because I really wanted to know like what that vision he was saying he gonna see in 3 days was, but this kind of taking me off topic here. Because I kind of wanted to go in the same context with the last video. But y'all read the rest of this if y'all interested. It's Second Esdras, which can also be called Second Ezra in the Apocrypha. And go to the Bible app I told you about called the Yah Scriptures. Their website looks like this. No, I'm on airplane mode. I can't go. But y'all just research that. Um, and get that Android or iOS app and also download all the PDFs. Put a copy of them somewhere just in case for some reason these websites and stuff like that got the Bible apps and stuff was to go down. Because just like it said, truth will be hidden. Like you need to have multiple copies of the scripture, hard copies, apps, stuff like that, because I truly believe that in some day, stuff is just going to mysteriously change right there on the internet, right there from the Google Play and Apple Store, right there in the Christian bookstores. All of a sudden, all the Bible's different. I really do believe that because I had a dream about that. And I think that might be the next video we make, is the dream I had about the last days. I had more than one. And my mom also just recently had one too. And that adds some context to the dreams that I had already. So I think the next video is really going to talk about that. But I did want to go over 2nd Esdras. Just to continue the original context of the last video, talking about the rapture and all of that kind of stuff, because these are things you need to know up front. Up front, you cannot have your faith in things that are opposite of what the Bible says is going to be. You got to have your faith in the truth. God honors faith, but he don't honor lies. All right? And just because this is what most of the world believe, don't mean that's what God is going to do. God do what he say he going to do, not just what you believe he going to do. First and foremost, you need to have your belief in what he say he going to do. Now, if you got faith in something that God didn't talk about, all right, fine, right? Yeah, like I get it. But stuff pertaining to the last days, these things will happen. It's already written in scripture. It will work that way. And it will not work the way people been preaching all these years. It won't. That's opposite of the original context of just the 66 books of the Bible. If we stay there and there only, all the stuff people been preaching about the last days don't even make sense. Like, I don't even need to go to the Apocrypha, honestly. But just having it actually add more context to what the Bible already do say. It's just when we read it from a perspective of already knowing what it's talking about, and we don't really slow down and think about what it's actually saying. And so that's all I really wanted to do. Into the last days, the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13 to 15, I believe, because I didn't read the whole 15. So if y'all have any questions or anything like that, please leave them in the comments, and we will continue this series of Into the Last Days. If you enjoy this content, you find it helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for the next one. Make sure you hit the notification bell to be notified when the next one do show up. And not every video I make is always going to be talking about the same context unless it's like one of these uploads for the podcast. So y'all really stay tuned for that and keep me in prayer, because a lot of things regarding my time has really been at war right now, you know. But that's kind of why I haven't been doing any uploads about the podcast that much, because it's just been a lot scattered around right now. So all right, y'all have a blessed day, and yeah, just be looking forward. Peace.